In today's video, we're going to pack up Chief Slapaho here for her journey across the country. I'm doing a 7,000 mile journey across the United States, hitting national parks, Route 66, the mother road across America. We're going to be camping in Yellowstone. We're going to be hitting Sturgis and going to concerts in the Legends Ride. And then to cap it off, we are going to the Indian Motorcycle Factory in Spirit Lake, Iowa, taking her home to where she came from. In this video, I'm going to go over what I'm packing for this if you guys are taking a moto camping trip or you're going cross country, and I will have links to gear and stuff in the description if you guys are looking to pick something up for your motorcycle trip and you're just not quite sure what to pack. In addition to camping gear, I'm also going to go over what I pack on the bike for emergency kits. Stuff you'll need if you break down on the roadside, stuff you should always have with you, that sort of thing. There's also 2 creature comforts I have added to the bike that you guys are going to want if you're taking a super long cross-country trip. I'll go over what those 2 things are towards the end of the video, including one that is going to just make your day so much better riding long days in the saddle. I apologize, the background is a little ugly in here. We're just sitting in the garage, but I just did an oil filter change, air filter change, and really just cleaned and detailed the bike as best as I could. It won't get washed again, other than the windshield, till I get to Sturgis, to the Buffalo Chip, to the Bikini Bike Wash. So hopefully the detailing will hold up for a couple weeks here. So we'll start first off with camping gear, what I've got, how to pack it, and how to secure it to the bike, and what you might want to consider for longer trip, shorter trip, and how to actually secure it to the motorcycle. Let's talk camping gear. If you're headed just to Sturgis, you'll need less than if you're going to be spending a few days in the national parks. I'm going to be headed to several national parks on my big American road trip on the way out, so I have a little bit more gear here than you would need just for your time in Sturgis. But links to all this stuff will be below and on my website, which is all set up brand new for you guys. I will have a packing list on the website as well, so you guys can go there and use it if you prefer to print off a PDF and, good old pen and paper checklist. And links to all this gear will again be on my site as well. So if you guys want to pick anything up that you see here that you like or got any questions about it, ask me down below and I'll be happy to help you guys out. First off, with moto camping, unless you can pack it all in your saddlebags, which I've got a good setup on the Indian, but I can't get it all in, you're going to need a duffel or a large dry bag. So this is a Harley Davidson waterproof duffel bag. It's expandable, works great. It's got backpack straps on it. It is pricey, but I got it for free from Harley. That's a whole another story right there, but they provided me with this bag and it's really nice. So I'm going to be trying to pack all my gear in here for camping, leaving the saddlebags on the bike for bike equipment, camera equipment, and my personal clothes and items that I need to take with me when I travel. Compression sacks. These things are a must-have for moto camping. If you have dirty laundry or a wet blanket, sleeping bag, whatever you need to save space on the motorcycle, you stuff it in here, you strap it down and compress it nice and small, and you can fit a lot more on your bike if you can collapse it and get it stuffed inside of a compression sack. You can pick these up in different sizes, different volumes from REI. You can also get knockoff and cheap Chinese stuff on Amazon, which if you're just making a week trip, hey, if it lasts a week, great, and for a couple bucks. These are a little more heavy duty from REI, but they're worth the investment and you'll reuse them time and time again. They work especially great for large, bulky sleeping bags if you need to compress them and get them smaller on your bike. Obviously, if you're going tent camping, you're going to need a tent and you're going to need poles. I've got mine separated out in 2 different bags here, so that way I can manipulate where I put them on the bike and keeps the bulk to a minimum in one location. But again, all this is going to go in that one duffel bag. Dry bags aren't usually expandable, so if you guys go with something like a Sea to Summit dry bag, you might need 1 or 2, and it might be easier to just stack them on top of each other sideways on the bike and strap them down with a good pair of rock straps. I also have a better strap system here I'm going to show you guys right now. Speaking of strapping stuff down to your bike, this is what I would recommend. A lot of people use rock straps and they're great, but this is something really cool. This is called Steel Core. It's a big, heavy-duty piece of webbing. It's cut-resistant webbing with a steel cable, aircraft cable braided through this thing, so someone can't just come along and slash your strap, grab your stuff and go. They're going to need to have something heavy duty enough to not only get through the multiple layers of cut resistant webbing, but also through the steel cables that are inside of this. Once you have this set on the bike, feed it through the locking mechanism, turn the key, walk away. When I go into the hotel at night, this bag is still coming in with me. I'm going to take my gear off the bike. I wouldn't trust my stuff outside overnight on the bike, but for, just pulling off on the highway, running inside to use a rest stop for a couple minutes, someone is going to have a hard time getting this off of there quickly. They can't just grab and go and slash. So this is a great way to secure your stuff to the bike. If someone's that determined, nothing's really going to stop them from grabbing it and taking it, but this will at least slow them down significantly, or they would have to slash through the bag and damage whatever's inside. Let's talk food. I've got a jet boil system here. These are probably one of the most popular low camping stoves on the market. And I've got freeze-dried backpacking food. My recommendation for you guys, I'm not saying this is the best stuff in the world, but some of it actually tastes pretty freaking good. If you have the time, go to REI. They've got all kinds of this stuff available for you to just buy individually. And then, try a few. If you like one, buy more in bulk. I'm vegetarian. They've got lots of like fake veggie meat stuff, and they've got mac and cheeses, vegetarian lasagnas, veggie chorizo breakfast. So in here you've got egg, potato, cheese, bell peppers, and fake sausage patty in here. Really good. I highly recommend Mountain House and Backpacker's Pantry. Backpacker's Pantry has a really good one here. Dark chocolate cheesecake mix. Really, really good. As far as heating up that hot water to make these, all you need is a jet boil or some sort of low camping stove. This is all self-contained. You just pop your butane on the bottom, light it up, and within about 2 minutes, actually with this I think it's 90 seconds, I've got boiling water. I pour it right in there. Instant dinner. Quick pro tip, search REI for these. In the used gear and like returned section, I found this one for half price. Someone brought it back because the igniter, the built-in ignition system that makes it convenient for lighting this, it wasn't working. So I figured, well, for 50 bucks off, I can use a match. It's no big deal. I got home, I just bent the wire the other way, and the ignition system worked. So it wasn't even broken. Someone had just bent the wire the wrong way, and it works absolutely fine. I got it basically brand new for $50 off. I'm going to have links, again, to all this stuff down below, but if you have a good camping store near you that's got a used gear section, go check it out first before you buy anything from any of my links below. Don't pay full price for good used gear, lightly used stuff that might be in perfect condition. Save yourself a few bucks and check out a used camping gear store if you have that option available. If you guys are going to any national parks this summer, get yourself an America the Beautiful National Park Pass. Some of these parks are up to $30 a day now for entry. It will cost even more depending on how many passengers you have with you. With a motorcycle, I think it covers pretty much everyone on your bike for 2 up. But in a car, I believe if you have more than 4, then you have to pay per person. It's something like that. It's kind of ridiculous. Your tax dollars already pay for it, but whatever. Anyway, America the Beautiful Pass, 80 bucks. Gets you into all the national park sites, all the national monuments. So if you're going to be spending more than 2 or 3 days in any national monument or park site over the course of the next year, this is absolutely worth it. 80 bucks for this. If you're a veteran, it's a discounted rate. In fact, it might even be free. If you're 62 or older, and you buy one of these for $80, it's good for the rest of your life. So senior passes are good for life once you're 62 or older. For me, 80 bucks a year, still worth it. I am not even 30 yet, and I want to be comfortable at night. I am not about sleeping on the ground. I want to be comfortable after a long day of riding on the bike. If I'm doing 9 and 10 hours to cross the country and do really long days, you got to be comfortable. So, this is the Nemo Roamer XL pad. This thing blows up, and it has a memory foam top to it. It is the most comfortable, close to being in an actual bed sleeping pad I have ever tried. I cannot stress this enough, you guys, how much I recommend this. It will be linked below. It's an incredible camping pad. You guys will see it in my camping videos on my upcoming trips to the national parks. It is spectacular. However, if you're backpacking, this is not a backpacker's thing. It's heavy, and even if you roll it down, it's bulky, okay? So this is not going to be a small compressible thing. There are better options out there if you're looking for smaller and you're looking for lighter, but there's no better option out there if you are looking for comfort. It is packable enough that I am able to get it in this bag along with all the rest of this gear, surprisingly. I don't roll it up like this. I actually kind of use it inside the bag as a form and put everything inside and wrap this around it. Absolutely worth it. When I picked this up, it was $200. I think that was on an REI sale. Pricey. Again, I will have links below for you guys to the cheapest spots I can find this stuff for you. But if there is a single piece of camping gear I recommend out of everything here, this is it. The Nemo Roamer XL sleeping pad. Full 30 inches wide, so size of a twin bed basically. It'll fit the extra jumbo sleeping bags that they make nowadays, or even standard like twin sheets. So if you're packing a nice bedroll and you want something super comfortable, this is the way to go, bar none. It's small and it's worthwhile. These little inflators, you can pick these up on Amazon. There are brand names that make these, but they're expensive. This was like 10 bucks on Amazon. Just scared my dog with that. But this is a quick little inflator pump. It's rechargeable. Some of them even have like a battery bank, so you could charge a phone off of it and use it as a spare battery. They even have a little light, so you could use it in your tent at night. But absolutely worth it. It'll get the pad that you have inflated to about 95% in about a minute. And then you can use that bag that they include to compress that air and make it, really tight if you want a firm sleeping pad. You'll have to use that. It won't make the bag super, super tight and firm, but it will do most of the grunt work for you and get it almost completely inflated. Just some little things here. I've got a Citronella candle. I use it just when I'm camping, put it on the picnic table or wherever I'm sitting down to have my dinner or my lunch. Light it up, helps keep the insects away if that's a problem where you're going. Camp mug. You want to make your coffee in the morning or hot chocolate at night. It's nice to have a little mug with you. Quick to heat up hot water again with the jet boil system for either cleaning or just making hot water for your coffee or whatever you want to drink. Lights. Simple, cheap. You can pick these up. This was a freebie at a REI grand opening. This was from Eno, so these are a little more pricey. But you can pick up all kinds of little lights cheap. I'll link down below some lights that I take with me camping that were a couple bucks. And it's just nice to string up around your campsite to identify your campsite when you're coming back at night, or to just have light, in the tent. Last but not least, let's talk about a few little extras. Whether or not I can take all of these with me depends on how much gear I'm packing on the rest of the bike sometimes. But a couple things to note. This is a big fly tarp. I believe it's from Kelty. No brand name on the outside of the bag, but it's a Kelty fly tarp. It's huge. And it's got lots of ropes it comes with. So if I get to a campsite in the woods and it's raining, I don't want to set my tent up in the rain and get my fly all wet and get the whole thing messed up. There's nothing worse than packing away wet gear the next morning if you have to keep moving to the next site. So I put this thing up first above me, string it up to the trees, and then I can work in complete dry comfort underneath of the tarp. Pair that with a ground tarp. If you're going to go camping, just get a cheap ground tarp. You can pick this up at Walmart for $2. I'm not even going to bother linking. But it's like, $2 for a tarp. Make sure it's big enough for the size of your tent. They now make tents that have their own dedicated ground tarp, and you'll pay an extra $60, $70 for a ground tarp. Camping is just too expensive. So just get a cheap $2 or $3 tarp at Walmart. Lay it down on the ground. If it lasts 1 or 2 camping trips, oh well. How much did you spend? A couple bucks. Not worth it to buy these specialized footprints. They're just too expensive. This is a chair. Not too expensive, not too fancy, but it is comfortable. I tried lots of camping chairs at different stores. This was the REI FlexLite Camp Boss. They make one that comes up a little higher on your back with a headrest, but then you're looking at more space, and I just didn't have the space to carry that on the motorcycle. I didn't think it was very practical. This thing comes with an underquilt, so it goes underneath of the seat of the chair to help keep you a little more insulated on those cool nights. It's a very nice thing. It's a luxury thing, so if you don't have the room on your motorcycle, just stick to the old picnic table or sitting on the ground at camp. But if you got the room, packing a small camp chair can be a nice little luxury feature to have. If you're going to Sturgis to the Buffalo Chip and you're going to the concerts at night, having a chair is also a nice thing to have. And you're in the general admission area at the concerts, there's no seating. So either stand for 4 or 5 hours, ride in on your motorcycle, but then you have people rubbing up against your bike, might scratch it, so if you don't want to deal with that and you want to sit down, easy little chair to pack. Last but not least, when it comes to the camp sleeping system, I've got a Kelty blanket here, and I've got my sleeping bag. The Kelty blanket is just that. It's not rated for anything special for temperature. It's just a nice blanket with a stuffed sack to put it in. If you're going somewhere and it's going to be hot, like Sturgis, I wouldn't even bother packing the sleeping bag. I would just take a camp blanket that's stuffable and your sleeping pad, and you will probably be absolutely fine. Last time I was at Sturgis 2 years ago, it was well over 100 a couple days I was there. This would have even been too much. You pretty much could have just slept naked at Sturgis the last time I was there. And because it's the chip, I'm sure a lot of people did. Conversely, if you're going to go somewhere where it's cooler and you want ultimate comfort to go along with that Roamer XL pad from Nemo, I recommend Big Agnes sleeping bags. These things are awesome. They're huge. This will fit on the back a 30-inch wide sleeping pad. The way they get away with it being so big and not being so bulky is there's no insulation on the bottom. It's not like a mummy bag. You're not constricted. They give you a lot of extra room, but there is no insulation on the bottom of the bag. So it has to be paired with a sleeping pad in order to provide you with insulation at night. This is the Diamond Park 15. It is down. It's not synthetic. I don't recommend synthetic to anybody. It's heavier. It's bulkier. Down is natural. It compresses really well, but make sure you don't store it compressed when you get home. You know, put it in a larger bag like the storage sack they provide from Big Agnes. You don't want to leave these compressed because down will eventually lose its loft if you leave it that way. They're huge. They're comfortable. You don't feel confined and restricted, which is like the worst thing you could have in a sleeping bag, in my opinion. So I highly recommend Big Agnes bags, especially the natural down bags, not synthetic. That about covers it for camping gear and then some. One last thing we gotta do now, pack it all in the bag. That's gonna be the fun part. Once you guys thread this thing through, close it in place. It's under quite a bit of tension. Get the latch, turn your lock, you are secure. Tuck that strap up out of the way so it doesn't flap on the ride. And we are set with camping gear. Had to sit on this thing to get some air out of it. It seals pretty well, but you can still get the air out. Just crack the zipper. I got all my camping gear in here except for, I took 4 or 5 of those bags of camping food. I sectioned them up into like 5 bags each and put those inside of Ziploc bags to kind of keep it contained so I didn't have 18 different food bags running around all over the place. So one of those Ziploc bags packed with 5 of the backpacking food bags, I wasn't able to get in here. So that will go somewhere else in the saddlebag. But for the most part, everything's in here. And, and I didn't put my Nalgene water bottle in there. But tent gear, sleeping gear, sitting, cooking, all that stuff, it's all in here. All the tarps, all the poles, all the ropes, everything else. So that leaves the rest of the bike for packing. I've got all my emergency gear in this bag. I'm going to show you guys that in a moment. And then the trunk and the other saddlebag can be all my clothes and personal gear. Depending on what you guys have as far as a setup, I would almost recommend not having a trunk on your bike. The trunk is nice for one reason, security. You can lock it. However, you will get more gear on your bike if you put a Sissy Bar on the back or maybe a luggage rack with a Sissy Bar and then lay some large dry bags packed with your camping gear, your clothes, whatever, onto the back of the bike and then strap it down, either with something like the steel core or rock straps. The trunk limits you on space, but it does provide the ability to actually secure it, lock it, walk away. So trade-off there. If you don't have to carry as much, trunk is the way to go because you can secure it, but if you have to carry a lot, I would go for a Sissy Bar and a luggage rack, and you can strap way more to the bike. In this saddlebag, I have roadside equipment. Things I need for the bike, things I might need for myself in case of an emergency. So I've got my rain suit, I have some gloves for pumping gas or working on oil, anything I might have to do with the bike, just to keep my hands clean so I'm not messing up my motorcycle gloves. I've got some JB Weld in here, along with some cleaner for the windshield. I've got a toolkit down in here. I have an emergency medical kit for myself, like wound bandages, stuff like that. I've got oil for the motorcycle, and I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not sure I'm even going to be able to find a link, but if you guys can find these guys, Bug Slide. This stuff is really nice cleaner for cleaning your windshield and cleaning your bike on the go and just getting your visibility back if you run through a bunch of insects. That's all that's in here. It's packed really well. The toolkit is pretty big. It's packed under here. I'm not expecting to have to get that out. Fingers crossed. Don't want to have to. My recommendation for you guys is put together a toolkit that works for your bike. Don't just go to the store and buy a motorcycle toolkit. It may not have what you need. My toolkit is everything I need to work on the Indian that I can access. There's no point in me just going to the store and buying a standard roadside emergency toolkit because half of the tools will be in standard. Nothing on the Indian is standard, it's all metric. The only things that are standard on here are things I've added on, like my flag in the back or my highway pegs up front. Nothing crucial. So make sure you get a toolkit that works for your bike and carry plenty of tools to work on it if you need to. It could be something very simple, but if you have the right tools, easy enough to fix, won't need a tow, can get yourself somewhere. If you guys are going to be riding anywhere hot, like going out to the American desert in the West, like I am, make sure you got oil with you. I did 4,000 miles on Chieftain going to Sturgis 2 years ago. 4,000 miles out and back, never burned a drop of oil. I was amazed. However, it also wasn't too hot until I got out to Sturgis. But even while I was there, never bothered the bike. I still carry oil with me just in case. Highly recommend you do the same. Last but not least, some creature comforts. I highly recommend a quad lock. This system is cool. It's very nice. I've got the dampener on here to dampen out vibrations so it doesn't damage my phone in any way on the motorcycle. Usually they recommend that for sport bikes, but I wasn't going to take any chances. This just mounts to a standard ram mount arm, so I can loosen this up and position this basically wherever I want to. And then you can mount your phone to the motorcycle. Indian's ride command system is really nice. However, where I'm going, there's a lot of national park roads, little roads that shoot off, and it may not be exactly what I need. And it's also a little difficult to reroute yourself if you want to stop off and see something. So I recommend getting a RAM mount so you can put your phone up there with Google Maps, Waze, even Indian Ride Command on your phone is a little easier to manipulate sometimes than doing the ride command system on here. This is great if your route's not going to change, but if you want to just change it up in the middle of the day, having your phone is a great option. There's one last thing I want to mention to you guys before I sign off here, and that is the Wild Ass seat cushion. I'm going to have a full review video coming up on that, what it is, what it does, but it is spectacular. I wasn't going to get a Wild Ass seat cushion. I saw them at Americade a couple years ago, talked to Callie, talked to Wild Ass Craig, nice people. They almost convinced me to buy one, but I figured I've got a Saddleman seat. Why bother? It's a custom seat, it'll be fine. After 2,000 something miles going out to Sturgis, by the time I got there, the first thing I did was I ran to Wild Ass, got a cushion. It has made all the world of difference. Even the most comfortable seat in the world can't prevent you from getting pressure points in your butt. Your butt has to contact something. So after a while, you're gonna get pressure points, you're gonna get sore, and you're gonna hurt at the end of the day. The Wild Ass seat cushion basically just floats you on a little cushion of air and allows air underneath of you so you're never sitting with full contact on any point. It's not like you're floating above the bike, but the contact is constantly changing because there's air moving under you, and so you don't get those solid pressure points. Simple concept, a little difficult to understand if you haven't sat on one. It's not like you're sitting up on a balloon and disconnected from the bike. It just hovers you on like a thin film of air, and it's so wonderful. And you can go 8-10 hour days and your butt doesn't hurt at the end of the day like it would even if you were on a very cushy, comfortable seat. At the end of the day, you get off, your butt is still going to be sore. This wild ass seat cushion, none of that. I was shocked. So worth it, worth every penny to get one of these if you have a lot of mileage to cover. I've got them linked down below. They've also been kind enough to give me a promo code for you guys. So if you use my name, Motoblade, at checkout, then you will get a discount on a wild ass seat cushion. I cannot recommend that enough. It is so worth it for a long trip. So that's going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys found it useful. Links, packing lists, all that kind of stuff down in the description. Link to my website, which is brand new for you guys. I'm still setting it up, so not everything is quite perfect on the website yet. There will be some changes, but you can find the packing list on there and links to the gear there as well. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it useful, please hit that thumbs up button. That helps me crack the YouTube algorithm and get this video out to more people who enjoy this kind of content on motorcycles. If you're new here and you feel I've earned it, please subscribe. It's the big red button. Click the bell next to it and I'll give you notifications when there are videos to watch here on Motoblade. You guys are not going to want to miss all these videos. It's going to take me 10 days to cross the country, see these parks, and get to Sturgis. There's going to be so much content from that before we even get to Sturgis. There's going to be great stuff coming for you guys. I'm not going to be editing while I'm on the road. I'm going to film, and when I get back, I will start the editing process. So be patient. There will be videos coming out weekly like normal while I'm gone. I've got them ready for you guys, but when I get back, these videos will be edited, they'll be out, and it's going to be awesome, I promise you. Thank you for watching. Till next time, be careful out there. I'll see you guys in the next video.